My name is Ryan Flournoy. I'm a fourth year here at Embry-Riddle, currently doing my accelerated master's in finance right now. And this is my fourth year throwing the javelin. I started my senior year of high school, and it was kind of by accident. My football coach, who was my quarterback coach, was also the javelin coach, and he wanted me to just come out and try it because it was new to Florida. And so I came out with 2 weeks of practice and ended up winning the Metro meet, which was pretty cool. That was definitely a cool experience. And amidst COVID, I had enough training behind to get to states. Had a full year before, and then ended up doing just well enough to get recruited here. And since then, I've had blessing after blessing. My freshman year ended up breaking the school record here, which was pretty cool. Definitely was my driving factor to keep going for sure. And then my sophomore year was pushing towards nationals, which I ended up making. And then after that, I wanted to place. So this last year, my junior year, obviously I wanted to get to nationals again. And I was slated to go, ended up finishing 4th for D2, which was pretty cool, walking in at 16th, 17th, I forget, so it was a huge jump. And where I finished with placement, finished 4th in D2, 28th in the country, and I missed the Olympic trials by 4 spots, which was a very cool blessing. Would have been a cool opportunity, but hopefully 4 years from now, I'll get that shot. I chose Embry-Riddle because it was close to home. I'm an Orlando native, so my family is right around the corner. Grew up along the beach, so that definitely helped. Landlocked in Orlando was not fun. And when I came for my visit, I felt nothing but love here. I've had a huge drive for aviation. I wanted to be a pilot since I was 2 years old. And I'll never forget on my visit, watching planes taking off left and right, doing pattern work. This is my home. There's not a single thing I would do differently, and I certainly call this place my home, that's for sure. So when I first came here, Embry-Riddle was very much a sprint team. They didn't have a lot oriented around a throwing program. When I came on my visit, there were 3 total throwers. My freshman year, I think we had 6 total throwers. And right now, 4 years later, we've developed a throwing culture where now we have over 20 throwers on our track team, which is very cool. We've broken records in almost every single throwing event. And the last 2 years, we've had javelin squads on both the men and the women's side ranked in the top 5 in the country, which is very cool. I've had a lot of unique opportunities here at Embry-Riddle. I've made a lot of connections. A lot of the professors have definitely helped guide me in the right direction, especially those who have been influenced by sports, athletics, and just being able to say I'm a part of the track team. You know, we're very well renowned. I love knowing that we dominate our conference and we go to all these Division I meets. And we hold our own too. We've built a very cool culture here where we definitely push fun first. Obviously we work very hard, but we can have as much fun as we do because we perform, which is very cool. Trusting in your teammates and not only having confidence in yourself, but also building up everyone around you is probably the most important part. Since coming here, I have had a complete 180 from I was completely by myself to now I have guys that, you know, we're all on each other's heels. So it's a very friendly, competitive, family-oriented culture that we've built here. You show up and you want to be better. You're not told to be better.
The first thing that comes to my mind is Ryan is very much ahead of me. I came in, he was ahead of me. He stayed ahead a pretty good bit, but that being said, it gives me something to chase. I think you come to college, you don't get recruited for being bad. So you come being on the better half, and when you get here, you then immediately get humbled by this guy and it wasn't the easiest thing, but as I got to know him, all he wanted was for everyone to kind of throw far, because I think in a way it helped push himself, but it also pushed us to be a little bit better. He was always one to film you and point things out, but also just give you advice like, hey man, try to get your hand up a little bit. I think it might help you out. I mean, just anything and everything that would be able to be helpful for you. He would go out of his way to be that teammate, kind of be the senior leader. Even from when I was a freshman, he was a sophomore. He was always the oldest Jav guy, so I think he felt the responsibility of being the oldest and being the leader, and I think he's taken that and done a lot with it, at least in my career.
So I did my undergrad in supply chain management, the business side. Wanted to go into aircraft sales, kind of how the aviation industry works. I thought it was pretty cool. And then transitioning into my master's, obviously I knew I always wanted to fly, so I did that outside. Currently an instrument-rated private pilot, hopefully going to work on my commercial this summer if I have enough time. And yeah, right now the master's is kind of a secondary plan. Obviously flying is first. I'm hoping to go up to the International Guard up in Jacksonville and go fly fighter jets, prayerfully in the next 2 to 3 years. That's my goal. And everything else has kind of led up to this moment. For track, I have a really good shot of actually winning the whole thing this year. There's been a couple of competitors who have transitioned or have graduated, so the door's wide open for first place, which if you asked me my freshman year if I thought ever being a national champion was on the table, I would have thought you were crazy. And the fact we're here is absolutely nuts, so that definitely fires me up. And not only myself, we have a crazy amount of talent on this team, and we all push each other to get to nationals. We've gone from, you know, this is our standard at a conference to now we're trying to get 10 people to nationals, which has been unheard of. And I'm very glad to be a part of that. Yeah, shout out to Coach Wood, my high school coach, who pulled me from being a quarterback to sending me to states in about 4 months of training. High school coach, he was great. Wouldn't be here without him, that's for sure. Tom Petronoff, definitely would not be here without him. He definitely took me from step 1 to about step 9. And then obviously Coach Laura, wouldn't be here without her either. She has helped push me and guide me along the way. She's made me challenge myself as a person in terms of what I want out of the sport, out of the season, and she's kept me grounded with a lot of these guys that I'm surrounded with to not only better myself, but better myself through them.
He came here with, 1 year of javelin under his belt. Former high school football player, quarterback, has an arm. He's really excited to work with him his freshman year, and he really took it upon himself that summer between freshman and sophomore year to just become a student of javelin. Really, he learned so much and came back sophomore year after a really great summer, found some great mentors out there, and really came back ready to work, and it really paid off. Qualifying for NCAAs as a sophomore is awesome, and really getting that experience, and coming back junior year, qualifying, and PRing huge at nationals on multiple occasions to set his personal record was incredible, and it's been really an honor to be a part of his journey. And honestly, this javelin group really developed, and he says it all the time, we're kind of a throw school now, and it's been a lot of fun to be a part of, and something that I'm really proud of and excited to continue to move forward in the future.
I'm excited to come back and be a coach next year, be a GA. I'm super stoked because now I can just put all of my effort into getting all these other guys better. Because when I'm out here, I'm torn. It's I have to do my stuff, but I also want to do nothing but help them. So I'll be able to compete unattached, which is great. They're not going to get rid of me yet. So my freshman year, when I came to college, I met another coach, Tom Petronoff, who works out of NTC, National Training Center in Claremont, and he helped me a lot. He's the reason I was able to even come to college. He basically started me from scratch, and was very blessed to run into him. Fast forward about a year from then, he kind of took me on as his apprentice. I did 2 full summers of working under him, running camps, basically helping manage the National Training Center in Claremont. And so last year, I started my LLC. I started doing some private training lessons. I had a lot of people who were asking me if I did lessons, and I did, but just kind of on the side. And so I decided to make a company, make my website, and it was great. I ended up meeting someone who works out of Tampa. Her name's Nefertiti Abdullah. She's from Trinidad. She is awesome. She is she has the biggest heart of anybody I've ever met. And she has a nonprofit called 9 Waters, and they operate out of Tampa, and they're slowly building their team. And this last December, I got the very cool opportunity to go work with them through my company and go spend a week down in Jamaica working with Excelsior High School and College. And the amount of kids that we got to work with and bless down there was very cool, upwards of probably 300 kids. The National Guard has a couple different programs where I can basically work with the Guard while I'm training. That's the goal. Obviously, if I'm pushing towards the Olympics, I don't think they're going to tell me no. And then kind of the same thing with Jerk, the company, the healthy alternative for athletes, energy source. Just little slap strips, great, fruit leather with caffeine in them. And I would love to basically kind of incorporate that and then be sponsored by our own company in 3.5 years at the trials, and then hopefully the Olympics, which would be pretty cool. Being spread thin definitely keeps me on my toes. I don't have a lot of time to mess around. But when I can kind of hone in about 2 years, refocus on this, and get the training that I need once school's done and I can kind of put everything else on hold, I think the Olympics is very obtainable. There was a point at the end of my sophomore year, finishing nationals or whatnot, I could have left. Honestly, I could have went D1. I really thought and prayed hard about going to Florida. Both my parents were Gators. And I was like, wow, it'd be really, really cool to wear a Gators uniform. But God had other plans and he kept me here. So I'm right where I'm supposed to be with the people I'm supposed to be with, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So go Eagles.